In today's video, we'll be taking a look at this mysterious white creature and a rare sight of a prey and predator. But first though, let's meet this cute but deadly animal, blue dragons. Don't be fooled by the name. These sea creatures are nothing like the enormous dragons you might expect. They are nevertheless just as lethal as their namesake. A rare sea slug known as the blue dragon garnered notice after washing up on the shores of a Texas park. Although it's only 3 centimeters long, its bright blue hue is difficult to overlook. Despite their little size, their stings are extremely painful. The deadly Portuguese man-of-war is what the blue dragons feed on, thus they have a comparable sting. The neurotoxins are absorbed from the jellyfish and stored inside the small bodies of the creatures. Because it embeds poisonous cells all over its body to protect itself from other predators, the blue dragon is dangerous to humans. Humans run the risk of suffering painful and possibly fatal stings if they pick one up or simply touch it. Keep this in mind if you ever see one of these adorable and brightly colored sea slugs. Enjoy it from a distance and try to stay as far away as you can from it. Fanged sea monster. This lengthy creature appears to have crawled out of a nightmare with its eyeless head and pointed fangs. Preeti Desai of Texas City uploaded the photos on Twitter shortly after Hurricane Harvey in 2017. He had the caption, "Okay, biology Twitter, what the heck is this?" This grotesque-looking marine creature was most likely a fang-toothed snake eel, according to biologist and eel specialist Dr. Kenneth Teague. The marine beast, however, might also be a garden or conger eel, as all 3 species live off the coast of Texas. They also have huge fang-like fangs, according to the biologist. Fang-toothed snake eels, commonly referred to as tusky eels, are typically found between 30 and 90 meters beneath the surface of the western Atlantic Ocean. However, given the hurricane's strength, it's possible that this sea creature's beaching was brought on by the storm's powerful winds and flooding. Fish in jelly. Every now and then you see the occasional fish being washed up on the shore, and in other times you might have seen jellyfish too. What you might not have seen is a jellyfish, or should I say, fish inside a jellyfish. Yeah, you heard that right, because that's exactly what happened to one passerby on August 4th, 2021. Beachgoers in the UK were intrigued by this odd blob. The bell of this onidarian is translucent, revealing an undigested fish. It's likely that the little fish was devoured by the hungry compass jellyfish, so named for its brown, V-shaped patterns that resemble a compass, right before it perished. The unlucky fish might have been hiding in the jelly's tentacles when its supposed-to-be protector suddenly struck. The jellyfish, according to Live Science, stung the fish until it died and would have continued to slowly digest the meal in its primitive stomach if it hadn't washed ashore and also met its untimely end. A local photographer saw the blob while walking his dog nearby and took the photo. This is definitely not something you see every day. Orc-like creature. A woman traveling a beach in Egypt made a terrible find on the sand after coming across the remains of a monster that resembled an orc from The Lord of the Rings. Andrea Judd discovered the creature's remains with its fangs exposed and eyes missing while exploring a beach near Gaber el Bint, Sinai Peninsula. Mrs. Judd commented that the sight initially reminded her of a monster from a film. She didn't touch it because she was too scared, and even glancing at it made her feel uneasy. The thing was so frightening that she compared it to an orc from Lord of the Rings. She resorted to the internet in search of answers, seeking for assistance in identifying the unusual creature. Some internet users speculated that it was a baby Loch Ness monster, while another speculated that it may be a Demogorgon from Stranger Things. Despite the imaginative suggestions, some people provided sensible responses. People stated it resembled a moray eel that had been burned beyond recognition by the Egyptian heat because of its jaws. Nobody knows what the creature is, but one thing is certain, it's gonna give you nightmares. Giant sunfish. A rare, huge sunfish washed up on the banks of South Australia's Murray River mouth. A couple of fishermen on the beach saw this massive fish. Lynette Grislak uploaded a photo of it online, claiming that her partner was out with his work crew when they discovered it. They initially thought it was a piece of wreckage, but following closer study, it was discovered to be a giant sunfish. It's reported that the ocean sunfish, also called the mola mola, is a rare find there. However, this was not the most unusual site in which this fish had been discovered. Another massive sunfish washed up on a California beach, the same month the one in Australia was discovered, actually. It was claimed that this was the first occurrence in 130 years. That's what you call rare. Sunfish are commonly seen sunbathing in the sun to warm up before plunging hundreds of meters down the water, thus the name sunfish. And because these species are generally located in the tropical waters of the southern hemisphere, discovering one in Cali was bound to surprise. Pacific football fish. A second extremely rare deep-sea fish washed up on a Southern California beach, according to marine biologists. According to the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, the body of a Pacific football fish, a type of anglerfish featured in the film Finding Nemo, was discovered on a beach at Encinitas, north of San Diego, on December 10, 2021. With one look at this marine creature, you'd believe it came from a nightmare. The fish, which is commonly discovered at great ocean depths, has only 31 known individuals. According to McClatchy News, a second Pacific football fish was discovered on Black's Beach in La Jolla, California on November 13, 2021. However, that one was not retrieved since the researchers were not notified in time. The one discovered in Encinitas was estimated to be 13 inches long and 5.5 pounds. This nightmare-inducing anglerfish dangles its own bioluminescent light to attract prey in the deep depths. It's a good thing this creature only exists in the depths. I wouldn't want to be caught anywhere near it. Giant oarfish. Another deep-sea creature was spotted on a Mexican beach near La Paz, Baja, California Sur. This deep-sea oarfish, which measured at around 20 feet, was not the first of its kind to wash up on the shore. These serpent-like sea critters are generally found in tropical and temperate waters, at depths ranging from 600 to more than 3,000 feet below. Oarfish encounters are so rare that anyone who's been able to see them at the surface are either dead or dying. The oarfish has earned a name for itself as the earthquake fish. Back in 2011, during Japan's devastating earthquake, a disturbing number of oarfish arrived on the beaches. This happened from between December 2009 and March 2010. This resulted in people spreading tales and claiming that the said creature was a terrible omen who appeared just before huge earthquakes. A similar occurrence occurred in the Philippines on August 8, 2017, a day before a magnitude 6.6 earthquake struck the country's northern region, when two serpent-like oarfish were discovered on the beach. According to reports, one was 12 feet long and the other was 14 feet long. Now it's time for the day's best pick. Just take a look at this massive white creature. Looks pretty scary if you ask me. But let's take a look at what this mysterious creature could be. Globster. This giant sea creature was discovered on the shores of a beach in the Philippine province of Oriental Mindoro in 2018, and is undoubtedly a sight that will have you wondering, what in the world? This strange beast covered in white hairy strands and about the size of a truck has perplexed many people. With a height of 20 feet, this beast is definitely a sight to behold. People have been referring to the remains of the hairy sea beast as globster due to the fact that they've not been officially identified. Vox Cruzada, a law enforcement official for the fishing industry, stated that it's probably a whale's remains, despite it not being confirmed. However, more testing is required to determine the actual species. Cruzada had to collect tissue samples in order to test it, and unfortunately had to inhale the awful stench of the described beast. Cruzada came close to throwing up due to how bad the scent was, much like any other remains, especially rotting ones. However, this was not the first time a mystery creature washed up on the shores of the Philippines. A similar-looking specimen washed up in the Dinagat Islands in February of 2017. This creature, which was 20 feet long, was eventually determined to be the lifeless carcass of a whale. Bloated whale. According to researchers, the tragic discovery of a deceased baby humpback whale in southwest British Columbia can serve as a wake-up call to people about the dangers that humans pose to these species. This juvenile female's carcass was discovered on a Malcolm Island beach. According to Jackie Hildering of the Marine Education and Research Society, a conservation organization situated in nearby Port McNeill on Vancouver Island, the carcass washing up on the beach is unusual, to say the least. While no cause of death has been confirmed, Hildering says the whale, called Spike by researchers, had no visible exterior injuries, and it wouldn't be shocking if it died from blunt force trauma from being hit by a boat. Spike's body, which is thought to be 10 meters long, has been secured at the spot to prevent it from floating away. The carcass has become inflated because of the gas accumulation caused by rotting. Hildering stated that a cultural ceremony will be held by Namus First Nation representatives, followed by a necropsy lead by Fisheries and Oceans Canada, or DFO. DFO and the Namus First Nation will decide what happens to the whale after the necropsy. The body itself was found by Andrew Pinch and his family, who were walking their dogs along the isolated beach when they came across Spike. Hildering is grateful to Pinch for swiftly reporting the discovery, which allowed researchers to identify Spike and learn from her death. Live giant squid. We know there's some genuinely bizarre deep-sea dwellers. When we get a close look at sea creatures, they frequently resemble creatures from a horror film. Fortunately, the most terrifying aquatic monsters frequently avoid locations where normal humans can go. But every now and then, one will come out to say hello, much like this living gigantic squid that washed ashore on the sands of a Japanese beach. The ultra-rare squid, measuring 3 meters, was discovered stranded at Ugu Beach in the Fukui Prefecture. It was also stated by local officials that the squid was discovered alive. The video of the cephalopod was released on Twitter by news agency AFP and has gained nearly 200,000 views since then. Japanese daily Mainichi stated that the enormous squid was discovered by a local resident at 10 a.m. at Ugu Beach. This was on April 20th, 2022 on the Sea of Japan coast. Went on to say that this squid was alive when it was discovered, which officials noted was quite rare. The giant cephalopod was filmed swimming in shallow coastal waters while officials took measurements. The deep-sea species has been moved to Sakai's prefectural city of Aishenzen Matsushima Aquarium. See you all next time.